Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Capricorn is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Capricorn, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. We start with a Knight of Cups, one of my favorite cards. This is a card of passion. I think you're somebody who is really giving something of themselves, you know. It's kind of like you have your heart on a plate, and you're just saying, "Here I am, world." Yeah, that you're being open and vulnerable. You're offering your gift to the world. You're putting yourself out there in a way that it puts you, it exposes you to risk. You know, you're being authentic. You're saying, this is me, this is who I am. And so you know that it could, you know, that you could get hurt. Yeah. That you're sort of following your bliss. You're pursuing your happiness. You're on that quest. You're on that path with heart. I think you're somebody that probably does that a lot. You know, like, you're someone maybe right now you feel like you're wearing your heart on your sleeve. Yeah. That you, and I think it's just in small ways too, even just in daily life. This is the card of like random acts of kindness and just kind of like taking a chance, like smiling at somebody. You don't know that they're going to smile back. What if they like cringe, you know? I mean, that's the risk that you take. It's like you're exposing yourself to getting your feelings hurt. You're putting yourself out there in such a way that, yeah, someone could react poorly to you. Maybe someone's not going to receive what you're offering. Whether this is a creative offering, something at work, at home, at school, if this is love, if this is you like taking a chance, being nice to somebody, being kind, showing somebody a part of yourself, showing the world a part of yourself, and kind of like saying, just please be gentle, you know. Let's put this card into a little bit of context, okay? We're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. Look at that double Cancer energy, Chariot card. Both of these are Cancer power cards. Guess what, Capricorn? Cancer is your opposite sign. Yes, Cancer and Capricorn are at opposite ends of the wheel of the zodiac. So in a way, the Cancer energy represents your unconscious side, your shadow side, your hidden side, your alter ego. The parts of you that we protect and that we maybe even like try to push away and ignore. Because maybe, you know, in the stereotype, at least Capricorn is a very kind of fortified, very hard, very rough, very independent, the lone mountain goat, right? Very focused perhaps on material goals, someone who's just kind of like very strong and that ambitious and that kind of work, you know, way that doesn't really, has kind of a hard shell, kind of like the Cancer. But in this case, the Capricorn is the hard shell and the Cancer energy is the soft insides. Yeah. And so it's kind of like now you're sort of, you're expressing those softer sides of yourself, those more compassionate, you know, energies, the more vulnerable, we're being more open, we're being more, we're exposing our true self a little bit more and saying, you know, be gentle, right? It's very interesting to get double Cancer. And I'd watch the Cancer reading if I were you. There we have the Hanged Man, we have the 2 of Pentacles, 5 of Cups, 9 of Pentacles. Whatever you're doing right now is really going to pay off. This is extraordinary. 9 of Pentacles in the future position, wow. It's gonna lead to progress. That you're taking a risk on yourself. You're giving the world your gift. whatever this is, like maybe this is your YouTube channel. It's kind of like you're taking a gamble here. You're rolling the dice a little bit. And you're saying, here I am. And I'm going to just see what happens. I know I could probably get my feelings hurt. You know, it's like you're risking disappointment because the reward is going to be so great. See, that's why we got disappointment at the top. And in a way, we have this, the Hanged Man here, which is kind of saying like, I'm kind of surrendering to the divine. I'm letting, it's just, you know, it's up to God now, right? However this turns out, I'm doing my best. You're offering the world your heart. You're saying, here it is. That's all you can do. The rest of it is kind of up to the universe, you know. It's very interesting. I think it's going to work out very well for you. But this is that card of surrendering. You're going to offer the world your gift. You're going to put yourself out there. You're going to put your heart out there for the world to see. And whatever happens, happens. You can't control, you know, you can't control anything beyond that. It's kind of like, you know, once you put your YouTube video out there, you make it public, it's not up to you anymore. Now it's up to the world. It's up to the audience. It's up to, you know, the algorithm and whatever powers that be. It's not up to you anymore. All you can do is give the world your very best offering, which is kind of you're sacrificing part of yourself and giving it to the world. However the world reacts, not up to you. And yeah, you could get a disappointment. You could get your feelings hurt. There's the 9 of Swords. But a 9 of Wands at the same time, yeah? We have the entire world, and we have a 10 of Swords. I think the 10 of Swords is good because what it shows me is that right now you very much care what other people think, but pretty soon you're not going to. When you first begin, yeah, you're going to care. But then at some point you're going to free yourself from that. And you're going to think, just giving the world your gift, that's what it's all about. What the world does with that gift, not part of the problem for you. I think you're going to be very surprised. I think that you may at first experience a little bit of pushback, a little bit of hurt feelings, and a little bit of a difficult reception, but eventually you're not going to care what other people think, and you're going to realize that this is what you're meant to do, that you're in service with the chariot. You're in service to something higher than yourself. Yeah, this is really good. I think this is going to be a big blessing for you. And of course, the 9 of Pentacles is a really big win. I mean, this is major blessings here. And you're going to keep moving forward and making progress even when you run into difficult people and situations that, or an audience that isn't receptive to you. It's not going to matter. At first it will. At first it'll sting. But you're realizing that your growth and your progress is not contingent upon other people's opinions. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set this down right here. We're going to put Dwight K. Schrute right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Okay. Now, as we look around the room, major, major, major. The chariot, a thicker skin, a sense of purpose, a motion forward, a movement, a sustaining effort. This is Noah's Ark. This is you trying to hold something together and keep things afloat. And it's a hedge against entropy. You're trying not to let something devolve into chaos. And you are acting as the vehicle of your destiny. The surrender to the flow of the universe. The surrender to kind of whatever happens, happens. And if we take it as the Noah's Ark kind of thing, right? You know, this is Noah in the ark. This is kind of the idea of we just have to accept whatever's happening in the world. I got to do my very best to maintain, you know, what the mission is, Can't control the environment, can't control the circumstances. In fact, it's within those circumstances that you're even able to find that sense of purpose. You know? It's kind of like without the flood, there'd be no Noah and an ark. There'd be no reason to do the thing. Right? And then, of course, we have our universe here, our world, as sort of the fear, the worry and concern. I think, and really these two cards talking about we're sort of afraid of the world, right? We don't want to be hurt by the world. You're giving the world your gift, and you're hoping that the world will be gentle with it, that the world will receive it properly, the way you intend, right? But you're sort of saying, que sera, sera. What will be, will be. Once it leaves your heart, once you click publish on that video, or you publish your blog, or you send the letter, or you send the email, or whatever it is, once you roll the dice, they're out of your hand, that's it. You can't control how someone's going to receive the message, or the gift, or your art, or your letter, or your email, or, your heart. Yeah. Your gift. So anyway, we've got our majors. We have a little bit of fire. We have water and water. You have air and air. You have earth and earth. Okay. So just a little bit of fire. It's mostly the air, the earth, and the water cards. So the chariot now. We talked about the chariot already a bit. But I think it's here to really emphasize that the ego needs to be fortified here. Because in whatever you're doing right now, the ego may take some hits. There may be some rocks thrown at you. Okay, so you're wearing the armor. And I think that you're doing something between these two cards, double Cancer energy, your opposite sign, you're kind of like your hidden side of you. I think you're showing the world a part of you that it's never seen before. You've always kept it under wraps. Maybe this is like you're showing people your poetry, like, that sort of thing. You've never done that before. You don't know how they're going to react. And so you're kind of nervous. And we're concerned with how people are going to receive the poem, all right? Or whatever it is, or the YouTube video, or any other kind of offering, your art, your expression, your love, your good vibes, your friendliness, your attention, your affection. Maybe you're, again, just smiling at a stranger. And it's like, that's different for you. It's not a way that you all have always been. I think it's an intentional change. You say, you know what? I'm going to start putting myself out there more. I'm going to start just letting my heart kind of speak for itself. And then that Capricorn side of you is like, that's risky. That sounds like a bad move. But there's this hidden side of you that's like, the world wants to see you, and you want to give that, whatever gift it is. Maybe it's like this is a hidden talent. Maybe you've never sang in public before. You're going to now. You've always been singing in the shower, Spirit's showing me something about a window and you standing at the window. I don't know if you're praying or you're rehearsing something or you're performing something in a window. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a play or if it's like you're at home looking outside or something, or I don't know. Something about you at a window. Anyway. That window sort of frames you, doesn't it? And it's a portal for people to see you. Maybe it's kind of a metaphor, a window into your life, a window into your true self. Letting people see the real you. You think of, if I was looking at you and you were in a window, I'd see the window frames you, kind of from, waist up, like it's a frame of your image. And it sort of draws the attention into what's in the window. So it's almost like you're putting yourself out there in such a way that people are going to look at you. You're inviting attention. And the Capricorn energy doesn't usually like that. You're the lone mountain goat. When I get to the top of the mountain and I kind of just want to be by myself for a while, you know. But I feel like you're opening up that other side of you, okay? And with the Two of Pentacles in the background, I feel like that was a conscious change that you made. The Two of Pentacles is a card of harmonious change. You decided to bring what was hidden out to the foreground of your life, showing people that more authentic side of you, taking a risk, taking a gamble, rolling the dice, letting someone read your book of, you know, poetry or something, or like showing people your art, or letting them listen to your music, or publishing that thing or that YouTube thing, or like submitting the proposal at work or something like that, you know, or telling somebody how you feel. That could be this offering. See, the Knight of Cups has that cup and is reaching out saying, here, this is me in a bowl, right? Maybe you made a crab gumbo or a crab curry, and you're offering it to somebody, and you're just kind of like, this is me in a bowl, please be gentle, you know? But I think it was a conscious thing where you just said, you know what, I'm gonna let people see this other side of me. Maybe it's one particular person that you're letting in, I don't know. But it was a conscious choice for you to bring forth this hidden side of you and let the world see it. Let some segment of the world see it, I guess. I don't know the scale here of what you're doing, but I feel like to you, it feels like this is like the entire world is looking at you. It may just be like a couple of friends, or like your dog, you know, finally going to do your whole song and dance routine in front of the cat. Something like that, but it feels like it's the world looking at you. Okay? But it was a conscious decision. Yeah, where you said, I'm going to bring forth what is hidden. And now the Five of Cups up at the top, you're kind of expecting disappointment. You're expecting some hurt feelings. You're expecting some bad news. This is a card that's kind of like saying, I really want everybody to love me, but I know they're not going to. You're expecting disappointment. I think you're going to be very surprised. I think there will be disappointment, yeah. There will be people that heckle you, that throw tomatoes at you. That's kind of this card in this position feels like you're putting yourself out there in the window and you're doing your performance. You're going to get some tomatoes. Okay? But that everybody does. It's normal. If you weren't, it means that you weren't projecting your energy out to a wide enough audience. If everybody loves you, it means that you have such a narrow segment of the world that you need to expand a little bit. You want to be right there where most of the people love you, but there are a few people that hate you. That's the sweet spot, okay? Because if everybody loves you, then it's way too narrow. Way too narrow of a demographic, you know? So you will get your feelings hurt, but you're fortifying yourself against that. You expect it. You don't want this to be the dominant energy, though. Okay. Now, the Nine of Pentacles, the real blessing here. Major blessings, really. Because this is progress. In a way, this linear path is you making the decision to pursue your art or follow your path with heart or whatever. Let's say you're a stand-up comic. This is you making the decision that, hey, you know what? I'm a pretty funny person. I'm going to go get on stage. I'm going to get in the window and I'm going to do my comedy act. You are fully expecting some tomatoes, some boos, some hecklers. But you're saying, I don't care. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to go with the flow. All you can do is do the very best you can, tell your jokes, and the rest is in God's hands. But you also are going to continue to make progress. You're going to try to get better and better and better. You know, you're going to continue to refine yourself, and then when everybody likes you, you're going to widen your demographic and try to appeal to, or expose yourself to a larger audience, and then you're going to get more hate, you know, more hecklers, more negative opinions, more negative reviews. Because then you're going to say, okay, now I can keep growing. There's no limit to what you can achieve right now. This is real. This is going to be a big win. Okay. This is growth and progress on the physical, financial, mental, emotional, and spiritual creative planes. 3, 3, and 3. So doing the work in the physical realm is also being reflected in the spiritual realm. Work on the spiritual realm is being reflected in the physical realm. Everything's meeting in the middle, the human heart and mind. Okay? So the progress that you're making, the effort, the work that you're doing on the physical plane is also creating growth and expansion and evolution. It has its corresponding work on the mental emotional plane and the spiritual creative planes. Everything is connected. So even though this feels like it is a physical effort, a physical act, you're on stage telling your jokes, or you are, being nice to people, or whatever, sharing your poetry with people, or whatever it might be, submitting the proposal at work, that sort of thing. It's a physical, human world, material world behavior. But it is also affecting you spiritually. It's initiating spiritual growth as well as mental and emotional growth. Okay, the progress is all across the board. Every dimension of your life is going to benefit from this step that you're taking, this effort that you're doing. Okay, it's going to have such profound benefits in every dimension of your life. Now let's talk about the path of the serpent. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Yeah, the 9 of Swords is a painful card. Okay. It's your general energy. I feel like in some ways this is about you caring what other people think. Okay. This is a card of separation. Okay. This is the card of kind of being torn apart, right? And it's almost as if we're welcoming in some of the negative reviews. I don't think we want to do that fully. But I think in some ways you care more about the critics than you do the people that love you and praise you. And I think there is something to that. Because I think you can learn more from the negative comments than you do from the positive comments, right? And I can attest to that to a certain degree. I read all the comments. I love all the comments. Of course, I love everybody that has nice things to say, But at the same time, when people have a criticism, when people tell me in the comments something they don't like about me or the channel or what I say or what I do, that sticks in my mind a little bit more. Okay? We don't want to be so lopsided, though, that you end up as a masochist. That's just like, you're obsessed with the negative comments, the negative reviews, or the hate mail, or the negative opinions, And so you smile at somebody, they smile back, it feels good. Now I'm going to keep smiling at more people. But the one that you smile at somebody, they frown at you. That's the one that for the rest of the day you're thinking, why did they frown at me? Did I have something on my face? Do I look weird, right? It's kind of like that's the one that we're gonna overanalyze, yeah. So we have to be careful with that because we have a lot to learn from the negative response, just as we have a lot of encouragement, and it's a big confidence boost when you focus on the positive responses, yeah. So this card, I think, is. It's okay at first, but we need to transcend this, and I think that's what you're doing with the 10 of Swords, right? 9 to a 10 of Swords. I think we're getting out of that bird cage of caring what people think, because once we care what people think, then it's almost as if we then try to perform in a certain way to get the response we want. So then you're performing for the audience rather than for yourself. So it's like in my channel here, and all my channels, that would mean that I would then do a reading and try to tell you what you want to hear. try to appeal to everybody. I want the entire audience to love me, so that I can, and that's me performing in a birdcage, just doing a song and a dance, which honestly I think is what 99% of people do. We're just going to do the song and the dance that's going to make everybody happy. Then you get more views and all this kind of stuff. Rather than transcending the need to cater to your audience and just express yourself the way that you feel is right. It's kind of an authentic expression, and it goes right back to this, having a thick enough skin where people are going to love me, people are going to hate me. Fine, that's a given. Once I accept that, you transcend the need to care about what other people think. You get out of the birdcage and you say, I'm free. I can express myself authentically, and I can continue. I want to, obviously you want to grow, you want to get better at what you're doing. You want to refine your energy. But you don't want to be trapped in that feedback loop of what the audience, whatever your audience is, feels like it's the whole world is your audience, but maybe it's just your cat. And what happens if your cat just like walks away bored? What happens if your cat sits up and starts clapping? I don't know if cats can do that. I guess they can, huh? What if your cat starts doing that? Well, then it's like, okay, my cat loves what I did. I want to do the same thing again because I want the cat to clap again. And then we're performing for the audience. And then you're in a birdcage. And you're just on display. And you're just doing what is expected of you so that they'll put food in your cage, rather than being free of that. And kind of like, and that to me, that feels like a real spiritual breakthrough, where it's just like, I can express myself how I want to, and you can make infinite progress. There's no limit to how far you can go or how much you can refine this or how much progress you can make. But you're not going to make very much progress if we care too much about what people think. We do care what people think, and we will always care what people think. I still very much care what you all think and what your opinions are. I love the comments, the good ones, the bad ones, the in-between ones. But I can't let myself cater to that feedback. Do you know what I mean? So, in the position of your environment, you have to have a 9 of Wands. You got to have strength, you got to have resilience. You're going to get the bad comments, you got to be firm, you got to be resolved, you got to have backbone. You got to stay true to your purpose. The sun and the moon are connected. You're connected with your purpose, and that's it. This is saying, this is how you are. This is what you believe in. This is your will. It doesn't matter what opinions are being thrown at you. You're not going to break. You're not going to break down and either quit when you get some negative feedback. You're not going to break down and just start changing who you are in order to appeal to your audience. Okay, you're standing upright, you're firm, you're flexible, you're attentive, but you're strong, you're resilient. You can absorb the rotten tomatoes, and you can still stay true to yourself and keep doing what you're doing, trying to get better and better at what you're doing, refine your energy, but not cater to anything else. Okay, but being flexible, you don't want to be so adamant and so firm that you've planted your flag in the ground, and then you're resisting the nature of the environment, and then you're going to just snap. You don't want to be so rigid that you'll snap like a twig. You want to be flexible. Okay, so if your audience sort of expects something, or the algorithm expects something, you have to be willing to compromise and be flexible without compromising who you are. You want to bend but not break. Okay. And the universe card in the position of the obstacle, well, that's the obstacle. The world itself is the obstacle, because it's like they're the ones, the world itself, the universe itself, the everything outside of you, right, is what is receiving your energy. You're putting your energy out there. What is out there? Everything, right? Everything else is out there. And so we're trying not to be so concerned about how it's received, but that has to sort of be the concern, right? Because it's like, you're smiling at the stranger, and you are getting feedback from how they react to you. Otherwise, you're just smiling into nothingness. You know, we're just smiling into the void. They're just practicing smiling, right? Rather than getting some feedback from the universe, you know, and kind of what do we do with that? It's a gauge of how well we're doing sometimes, but not always, right? What if you smile at somebody and they frown at you? It's not because of anything you did. It's not a reflection of you. It may be that that person's having a very bad day. Okay? Maybe in that person's culture, smiling is an act of aggression. I don't know. Well, see, it's not always a reflection of you, but at the same time, it is something that we're using as that mirror. So the universe itself is kind of like something you absolutely need, but it's also the problem. And so it's the fear, worry, and concern. And I think that in a very general way, this is the anxiety we have over putting ourselves out there into the world. Letting the world see you is kind of a stage fright. It's the stage fright kind of position for that card. There's a fear of putting ourselves out there into the world, because we don't know how the world's going to reflect ourselves back to us. What am I going to learn about myself when the universe frowns at me when I'm trying to smile at it? How do we handle that, you know? I think this is also the card of kind of being free of restrictions and boundaries. Okay? Being as free to express yourself as possible within the framework of whatever your medium is, whatever your media are, you know? If it's on YouTube, okay, you got to play by the YouTube rules. It's just the name of the game. That's where you've chosen to express yourself, so there's a framework. Chosen to express yourself through poetry, there's a framework there. You know, the pen and paper, that's a certain kind of, medium. So that's part of our universe card too. Being able to be as completely free as possible within the framework of the boundaries of the system that you're operating within. Okay. The 10 of Swords is pretty nice as a destiny card, because this is, in a way, the dispelling of illusion. Okay. This is getting out of the bird cage. This is breaking through kind of artificial limitations. Yeah. This is innovation, this card. It's the sun in Gemini. So it's in some ways, we have Mars in Gemini here. The Mars in Gemini, sometimes the negative feedback gives us the most insight. And you're not going to be emotionally crushed by the negative feedback. You're going to use it for enlightenment. When you smile at the universe and the universe smiles back, enlightenment. Okay, you have the sun as clarity. You have Gemini as the mirror, the twin. Right? How I smile at the universe smiles back. You smile into the void, right? The abyss, it smiles back at you. You smile at the universe, it frowns at you. Okay, that's enlightening too. And you can take one or the other equally without letting one inflate your ego and the other, and kind of then you're doing the song and the dance because you just want more smiles. Or the other way, where you get negative feedback, you get the frown from the universe, and then you just get discouraged and you break and you just say, I quit. You snap your wand in half and you say, I'm never doing magic again. You can take the praise, the flattery, and the criticism as equally enlightening, and use them for the right kind of fuel. I think in a very general way, this is us getting out of the birdcage of caring too much about what other people think. We want to know what other people think, but we're not going to be crushed by it. We're not going to let it really move our emotional body one way or the other. People praise you, and then you're just going through the day and you're just smiling even bigger than you were before. Okay, I mean, that's not so bad, right? But then when somebody frowns at you, and then you've got the mean mug for the rest of the day. Okay? So this is getting out of that kind of stimulus and response kind of flow. Let's look at the mystery card. I feel like it's going to be some good water energy, but I feel like it's going to be maybe a card of reception. It might be the High Priestess. It might be the Empress. Maybe it's a Six of Cups. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Here we go. The Eight of Cups. Ah, yes, the Eight of Cups. Walking away from the flattery and the criticism. Leaving them both as equally valid. See, we have an Eight of Cups, which is a 3, right? Praise, celebration, gratitude, and a 5. Disappointment, the frown. It's a smile and a frown. You're walking away from both. You're saying, I'm going to continue to do my will, express myself in the most authentic way I can within the framework within which I'm operating, unaffected by the flattery or the criticism, unaffected by the smiles or the frowns. Yeah. Kind of leaving those fluctuating emotions there where they need to be. Taking the wisdom, you saw them, you didn't kick them over, you weren't mad at them. Right? You looked at them and said, okay, and then you moved on. You're not going to dwell on like that one negative comment and you're going to just think about it for days and days and days. You're not going to take that one positive comment and just sort of like let it carry you away. You're accepting them for what they are. So I like this. You're walking away from the 5 and the 3. Because it's not about either the praise and you feel good or the criticism and you feel bad. It's about you expressing yourself in a way that's authentic because you're in service to something bigger than ego. I like that. Now we're going to do an extended reading as well. If you want to stick around, we'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner. There's a link down below in the video description. New readings for Capricorn, Tuesdays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you are watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.